lately, have you been wondering if you are just becoming lazy? Have you been telling yourself this exhaustion is not that serious? That you just need to get your discipline back? That you lost motivation somewhere along the way? Or perhaps you think everybody feels like this these days and you are simply struggling more than other people. That you just need a proper holiday and you will feel like yourself again. And here is what is interesting. You probably do not even resist the word burnout itself. What you resist is the possibility that it could actually be happening to you. Because you got so used to pushing through everything that you automatically minimize what you feel. Other people are allowed to struggle. Other people are allowed to break down, to need help. But you? No. You should be able to handle it. You should stay strong. Keep going. Push through. So instead of really listening to what your body has been trying to tell you, you keep dismissing the signs. And here is the difficult part. Burnout usually does not look dramatic at the beginning. You still function. You still answer emails, go to work, reply to messages. You do the things that need to be done. So your brain keeps using that as proof that nothing is seriously wrong. You think, if I was really burned out, I would not even be functioning at all. But that is exactly why so many people miss the early stages. The problem usually starts long before collapse. And we do not want to wait for that collapse, because by then it might be too late. Burnout begins when exhaustion slowly starts changing the way you function, the way you think, the way you recover, and eventually even the way you feel. And this is also why burnout can be so hard to recognize in yourself. Because a lot of exhausted people are still functioning not the same way as before, sure. Everything feels harder internally, but from the outside, your life still looks relatively normal. You go to work, you answer messages, you show up, you handle responsibilities. You keep everything moving somehow. And because you are still functioning, the people around you often have no idea how exhausted you actually feel. Sometimes even you do not fully realize how bad it has become. Because you keep comparing yourself to some extreme version of burnout. Where somebody completely collapses and cannot get out of bed. So as long as you are still technically going, your brain keeps saying, see, I'm fine. But functioning and feeling healthy are not the same thing. A lot of people run on stress hormones, pressure, hypervigilance, adrenaline, anxiety, guilt, or pure obligation for a very long time before they finally hit a wall. And high-functioning people are often the ones who ignore the signs the longest. because you became used to overriding yourself. You keep going when you are exhausted. You keep performing when your body is asking you to stop. You keep saying yes when everything inside you feels heavy. So the exhaustion becomes normalized. You stop asking why you feel like this, and instead you start adapting your entire life around it. More recovery time, more isolation, more mindless scrolling, more caffeine, more effort just to get through basic things. But because you still look functional from the outside, nobody sees the cost. And this is one of the reasons burnout gets recognized so late, because it does not start with collapse. It starts with functioning harder and harder for smaller and smaller amounts of energy, until one day your body simply cannot compensate anymore. And after a while, something else starts happening that can feel really distressing. You begin feeling like you have become lazy, because things that used to feel simple start feeling weirdly difficult. Not physically impossible, just heavy. You sit down to work and your brain immediately wants to escape. You open your laptop, then close it. You switch between tabs without knowing why. You pick up your phone, start scrolling. Even without enjoying it, you avoid the tasks you know are important. You procrastinate the things you actually care about. And the worst part? You know you're doing it, which creates guilt on top of the exhaustion. Part of you keeps thinking, what is wrong with me lately? Before you were capable, focused, disciplined, reliable, and now even basic things can feel overwhelming. Answering an email, making a phone call, starting something, making a decision, organizing your thoughts, remembering stuff. Thank you, brain fog. Everything requires an amount of mental effort that makes no sense to you anymore. And this is where people become extremely hard on themselves, because they interpret nervous system overload as a personality flaw. I became lazy, I lost my discipline, I am not trying hard enough, I need to push myself more. But when your nervous system has been overloaded for too long, exhaustion and saturation can look exactly like a lack of discipline. Your brain is saturated. Your nervous system is depleted. Your body starts resisting additional effort because it simply does not have the same internal capacity it used to. And this is also why doom scrolling becomes so common. Not because it helps you recover, but because your brain starts searching for easy stimulation that requires very little emotional or cognitive effort. You do not have the energy for deep engagement, but you also cannot fully rest. So you end up stuck between exhausted and overstimulated at the same time. From the outside, it looks like procrastination, but internally, it often feels much closer to paralysis. But when exhaustion starts affecting the way you think, feel, function, concentrate, connect emotionally, or experience life itself, that is no longer just being a bit tired. And sometimes just understanding that can already remove a huge amount of shame. Because when you do not understand what is happening to you, you tend to turn the exhaustion against yourself. But exhaustion changes people, especially when it becomes chronic. And if this video helped you see yourself a little differently today, then perhaps this is also the beginning of finally taking your exhaustion seriously instead of minimizing it. And if you want to go further and get practical, I am also hosting a free live masterclass called Breaking the Creator Burnout Cycle. In this workshop, we do something much more personalized. We map your energy rhythm together, identify where your biggest drains are actually happening during your workdays, look at which types of exhaustion are affecting you the most right now, and explore the recovery mismatches that often keep people stuck in cycles of depletion for years. The goal is not only to identify where your exhaustion is coming from, the goal is to help you start seeing what your system actually needs to recover and function more sustainably long term. Subscribe to the channel if you want to finally understand why your exhaustion keeps coming back, no matter how much you rest, and what to actually do about it. Take care now.